Hello and welcome to the Will or Trust What's Your Plan podcast. I'm Terence Quinn, an estate planning attorney dedicated to helping families like yours secure their futures and protect their assets. Welcome back. Here we are, episode 5 of Will or Trust What's Your Plan. I'm going to keep asking you, what is your plan? If you pass or if you become incapacitated, do you have a plan in place that deals with that? That's what this podcast is all about. In episode 5, we're going to get into an interesting topic. It's all about powers of attorney. What are they? How do they work? And how do you choose somebody? Let's do this. Let me read another snippet from my book, Will or Trust. The role of powers of attorney in your future success. Powers of attorney are essential in managing your affairs if you're unable to do so. They ensure that your financial matters, healthcare decisions, and personal affairs are handled according to your wishes, thereby protecting your assets and ensuring your well-being. Let's dig into that right now. So powers of attorney are the tools that you use to answer that second question of the two most important questions. Remember, number 1, what happens if you pass, to the assets that you have and to your children. But number 2, if you're alive and can't make decisions for yourself, who makes decisions for you and what would they decide? You address that through the use of powers of attorney. Now, you got to do powers of attorney. You can only put them in place during the time that you have capacity to do so. So as long as you understand what you're putting in place, the law says that you're allowed to put powers of attorney in place. I urge you. Let's pause. Let's break from the serious stuff and let's get even more serious. Let's talk about this now. Do a power of attorney right now. Okay, get with an attorney. Yes, you can pull them down online, and most states have signed on to the Uniform Power of Attorney Act and have their statutory forms, which are cool. However, I encourage you to see an attorney right now. Don't delay to put powers of attorney in place. Matter of fact, make that phone call today or tomorrow morning when you get up. But what are they? These are documents that are alive while you are. So one myth I want to bust is that a power of attorney matters after you're gone. They die with you. So when you pass, that's when your will or trust, we'll talk more about those in episodes 7 and 8, that's when a will or trust kicks in. But during your lifetime, there are 2 broad categories of powers of attorney. There's a healthcare power of attorney. There's a financial power of attorney. Now, while there are multiple types and multiple names for those documents in those 2 categories, those are the 2 broad categories. If you want somebody, and I encourage you to have the power and authority to handle money for you and business and property and assets for you while you're alive, then you want to have a financial power of attorney in place. As you want to make sure somebody makes the right kind of medical decisions for you while you're alive, if you need somebody to, that's the healthcare power of attorney. It also goes by living will, advance directive, those types of things. You may hear general durable power of attorney, a limited power of attorney. There are multiple types. Get the book. We go through those. But those are the broad categories. Now, it's very important to put those in place because imagine being the person who can't make it to the bank. Imagine being the person who can't make decisions for yourself, and you still got to pay your bills. You still got to make sure your tithes are paid if you pay tithes or whatever it is. You still got to make sure money is managed in the way that you want it to be managed for your best interest. Well, somebody needs to be given that authority. If you haven't put that in place, they're going to have to go to court to get guardianship or conservatorship. That's coming up in the next episode. They're gonna have to go to court to get those things. You don't want to do that. We'll talk about that next episode. Instead, as you're able to, you want them to be able to make decisions for you because you've given them the power to do so. Without courts having to be involved, without the public having to be involved, privately between you and that person, you've empowered them to do that. With those healthcare powers of attorney, it's the same thing. Doctors can't talk to people about your protected health information because of a rule, an act called HIPAA. HIPAA doesn't allow them to do so. So through your power of attorney, you're giving authority to the medical professionals to give them that information so that then they can make the decisions that you want them to make. So from a financial power of attorney to a healthcare power of attorney, you want to put these things in place so that you can make sure, number 1, you've given them the authority to do what they need to do. And number 2, you've done so in a way where they don't have to go to court to be involved with it. Now, sometimes people can challenge those, and here's the key for why you need an estate planning attorney to do it for you. You want to make sure it's written in a way that presents the least likelihood of a challenge. And if it is written in the right kind of way, then they can't challenge that. Real quick story, and then I'm out of here. I had a client who brought her mom to me. She had just been diagnosed with dementia. I had her go get a doctor's note saying that she had enough capacity to do a power of attorney, so nobody could challenge that. We put these powers of attorney in place. The daughter was empowered to handle business for her mom. time progressed, about 3 months later, the mom's health declined significantly. She needed to go into a facility. The mom had an estranged daughter that she didn't want involved in anything. Mom had now developed full-blown dementia and didn't understand what was going on. The daughter shows up and decides that she wants to challenge the daughter who brought her mom to me, saying that she was stealing money and all that kind of stuff, and took it to court. Remember in the earlier episode, I said you can challenge anything. It's just whether or not the challenge will be successful. Because she had followed all of my directions that I gave her, and because she took the time to make sure her mom put this plan in place, when we did go to court, I was able to tell the daughter, don't you worry about a thing. If you see me worried, you get worried. We put this in place in the right way. You followed my instructions. We're gonna be good. And as the mom wanted, we were able to keep the daughter out of that whole thing, and the court shut that case down. The court had to hear it because they have a right to challenge because she was her daughter. But because we took the time to plan according to her wishes and with legal expertise, we were successful in keeping the plan she put in place so that the daughter couldn't interfere, which is what the mom wanted to prevent. You got to plan correctly. You got to plan now. Everybody 18 years old and older, hear me. You have to put powers of attorney in place now, in my opinion. You don't want to delay on those. They are that important. Thank you for listening to this episode. I'll see you next time. As you're listening, you might be wondering, what's the next step for me? If you're ready to start securing your family's future, head over to tquinn25.com and book a free consultation with me. Together, we'll create a plan tailored to your specific needs. But don't wait. Your future deserves it. That's it for this episode of Will or Trust, What's Your Plan? I hope you found today's discussion valuable and are feeling more confident about your estate planning journey. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more strategies to protect your legacy and your loved ones. Until next time, take care of what matters most.